Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? After practice in New Orleans on Thursday, Dennis Allen was asked spoke about Alvin Kamara's absence and disclosed what was going on there.
AK was in New York today visiting with the commissioner, so that's why he wasn't here today. Have a day off tomorrow, and then expect him to be back on whatever that is, Thursday.
Good. So, well, that would be Friday. Day off. The day off is Thursday, and then Kamara will be back on Friday. I can totally understand how when you get into the throes of camp like that, you forget what day it is. So Kamara was not at practice Wednesday in New York, meeting Roger Goodell about his potential suspension. Day off tomorrow for the Saints. I think AK will be back there at practice on Friday. Dennis Allen was asked, though, his thoughts about whether or not Kamara going to see Roger Goodell could actually affect what the outcome will be of Goodell's ruling.
I don't really know. I mean, that's a question for somebody else to answer. But I think it shows initiative on Alvin's part to want to get out ahead of this and get his side of the story out in terms of visiting with the commissioner. And so we'll see where it goes.
The benefit here is that Kendre Miller has gotten some reps while Alvin Kamara is out today. Got more reps today while Alvin Kamara is out. But one more, though, from Dennis Allen, who was asked, was it a good sign that Goodell was receptive to the meeting, meaning because Goodell was willing to meet with Alvin Kamara, so he's willing to be maybe flexible on what a suspension might be?
I don't want to really get into all the details of it. I think we've kind of addressed that. We'll let the process play out, and then we'll react to whatever decisions are made.
For whatever it's worth, so I do think, by the way, that Kamara going to New York, sitting with Goodell face-to-face, being proactive, will actually help him. Fighting the NFL, being an antagonist, that will hurt you in the eyes of the guy that is ultimately the judge, jury, and executioner, the guy that is going to rule on this and dole out punishment, the singular person, and Roger Goodell. In essence, by going up there, Alvin Kamara is showing initiative. He's wanting to do something in private, not embarrassing the commissioner publicly, and telling his side of the story. I think all that is a very good thing. One thing that is worth noting, and we all operated under the assumption for a long time that Alvin Kamara would end up with a 6-game suspension. Now, there are no more felony charges against Kamara, as he's agreed to a plea deal and a lesser charge. But remember that the NFL, in their personal conduct policy, make it very clear that a player does not need to have a criminal conviction to face suspension. Some notable suspensions under the personal conduct policy. In 2022, of course, Deshaun Watson was suspended 11 games, was never convicted of anything. Darius Geis was suspended 6 games. The domestic violence charges against Geis were ultimately dropped. In 2020, Antonio Brown was suspended 8 games for multiple violations of the personal conduct policy, was never convicted. Kareem Hunt was suspended 8 games back in 2019. That was the assault caught on video that we all saw. Back in 2019, Seattle defensive lineman Jerron Reed was suspended 6 games for an assault accusation. My point is, all of these instances were instances that involved players that were never convicted of anything, but still faced suspension under the personal conduct policy. All the way back in 2018, the Jameis Winston suspension. He was accused of improperly or inappropriately touching a female Uber driver. From 2 years before that, if you remember, the accusation was from 2016. The suspension came in 2018. So my point is, just because Kamara is not going to be convicted of a felony doesn't mean a suspension won't come. But what I do think is that all these suspensions that I just rolled off, 11 games for Deshaun Watson, 6 games for Geis, 8 games for Brown, 8 games for Hunt, 6 games for Reed. I mean, the minimum you're seeing here is 8 games, or a minimum, is 6 games. I mentioned Jameis was 3 games. Richie Incognito was suspended back in 2019 for 2 games. I think that's probably the range. High end 6, low end 2. And because Kamara was willing to go to New York and sort this thing out, my guess is, again, it's just a guess, that it's going to fall on the low end for Alvin Kamara of the suspension. Let's say hypothetically that it is 2 games. You start to wonder, like, okay, how can the Saints overcome that? We'll talk about this more in detail whenever we actually know how much the suspension will be. But this was really interesting to me because Kendre Miller, on the day Kamara wasn't at practice here on Wednesday, Kendre Miller, the rookie third-round pick out of TCU, met with reporters. And remember, he wasn't there for rookie minicamp and all that stuff as he was still rehabbing the knee injury that he had surgery on that caused him to miss the national championship game. But he was asked about comparing he and Alvin Kamara. Keep play number 5. Here's what Kendre Miller said today about him and Kamara.
Practicing the game, we kind of do it the same. Like, we practice like we're going into a game. And so watching Alvin take his reps, it's like a game every time he touches the ball. Like, he's full speed through the footwork and then, make a move, whatever. And, it's kind of watching him every day. It's a good example, and I just, I keep watching and just taking notes, and he's a great dude to watch play football. Really talented.
He also talked about what he's learning from Alvin Kamara so far in this training camp.
Really, it's a lot on the route part of it, because Alvin routes are, just phenomenal to watch, and after a route, I'll go up to him and I'll ask him, or he'll come to me and he'll be like, on this route, just do this, and just watch this, and every day just learning from him. He's to me the best running back, route runner in the league. So just to have him at my link and my connection is just a big thing for me. So I try to use all of it.
Kamara's got 430 receptions in his career in 6 seasons. Remember, each of his first 3 years, he had 81 catches on the number. The first 3 years, and then it went to 83. 47, 57, and of course the year in 2021 when he had 47 catches, Kamara missed 3 games that year. But that is sort of the point, isn't it? Alvin Kamara, I think, is going to face a suspension. I don't know how long it is. The reason I'll kind of go, and shrug my shoulders a little is because we've never seen Alvin Kamara play a full season since his rookie year. Played in 16 games as a rookie, then 15, 14, 15, 13, 15. And, of course, the 15 was this past year on a 17-game schedule, so he actually missed 2 games this past year. Point is, Alvin Kamara has played in 88 career games. He's played a lot of football for a guy that's entering year 7 in the NFL. But one of the real appealing parts about Kendre Miller is that even though at TCU they didn't use him as a pass catcher out of the backfield, the real appeal of Kendre Miller is that he has so much tread left on the tires because he took about as many carries in his entire TCU career as Leonard Fournette did in the 2015 season when he was just boat racing the competition toward the Heisman before it ended, with a dud. But you got a guy in Kendre Miller who just turned 21 in June. He just turned 21 in June. And in his entire college career at TCU, I mean, he had 224 attempts this past year in 2022, but before that, 54 and then 83. 54 as a freshman, 83 as a sophomore, then 224 last year. It's one season of his career where he's really had to work hard. So I like that you got a young guy with a similar skill set, a lot of tread on the tire, figure out the pass-catching part of the game as a running back, and you've got your next version, which you hope is your next version of Alvin Kamara. And we'll probably get to see that on display and what the future is going to look like when Alvin Kamara likely misses time this year. All right, so AK in New York today. We'll wait and see a ruling from Roger Goodell. Hopefully it comes sooner than later. and then we'll look toward preseason. Of course, whatever that punishment may be. You've still got Jamal Williams. You'll have Kendre Miller to see what that future is going to look like at the present. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.